Hey, good morning. I'm Mike. I'm one of the LaunchCode mentors. I want to tell you guys real quick about the JavaScript basics. So, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through some examples on the command line. Even though JavaScript is known for running in the client, using Node.js, we can actually run it on the command line just like C or Java or any of those other native languages. So let's go ahead and get started. Now JavaScript at its heart is a very simple language. Pretty much everything is a list or a set. Everything, just about everything is objects as well. So let's take a look. This is a list and that is an object. Really simple. If we want to have a list with items in it, here's our list with items. There are no static types in JavaScript, which means you can just declare types whenever you like. You can also add methods on the fly, which we'll talk about in just a second. But in order to declare a variable, we don't have to say int or boolean. We just say the word bar, and that covers all of our bases. So we can say another thing to note is that actually numbers, there's only one type of number. It doesn't matter if it's floating point or if it's defined. So we can say okay, great. So you've got a little bit of idea. You just say var, and that declares any variable that you need. Now let's take a look at what some of the basic string operations, and then we'll talk about what we can do with objects. One of the main JavaScript functions is called splice. It allows you to specify an index and then how many items that you would like to remove after that index. So if something's not a list in JavaScript, most likely it is going to be an object, and actually objects appear to be quite a bit similar to sets. Let me show you an example. So as you can see here, if you'd like to create an object, you use the curly braces, and then you can specify the name for any attributes that you'd like inside of that, along with the value of those attributes. So, for example, we can just have an object with property. We can access that name by saying that name, or we can also do it through the associative array, saying double quotations name. One unique thing about JavaScript is that you can actually add methods and properties onto an object at runtime since it's dynamically typed. So for example, our previous operation was completely correct. We can say object with property dot phone number, and even though phone number doesn't exist, we're assigning it a value, and so now it does exist within the object, and now we can access it just like that. Okay, great. That's pretty simple. That's pretty straightforward. One thing to remember about JavaScript is that you can also attach functions, and in JavaScript, functions are can be treated as variables. Let me give you an example. Okay, here we've created a function just like any other variable. The only difference is we can add the parentheses on the end, and we can actually call that function. But just like with properties, we can also add methods onto an object at runtime. So if we say now since attributes are only getters and setters in JavaScript, calling this will only return the function that we created. However, if we are also able to call that function that we associated with the object by putting the parentheses on the side. There we go, it says hello. But you'll notice that we're able to get the function off one object, so that means we can also transfer functions from one object to another. There we go. Now, you'll see people add methods onto objects at runtime, but most often you're going to see them defined inline, or you're going to see objects created inline. And let me show you a couple examples of that. And I can also, instead of applying this function variable, I can also just create a brand new function right here if I would like. And probably what you'll see most often is that people will create objects that have a string associated with the function that gets ran. So in this case, we might have Furthermore, we can even pass variable arguments into these methods, for example. Okay, that's your basic overview of JavaScript. There's still a few things you need to learn. Definitely check out variable scope. Variable scope is based on function instead of block like in C or in Java. So that's something you want to definitely check out in later videos. Thank you guys for listening.